Hi and welcome back to my channel. And I'm still a bit awkward, but I promise you I'm trying. So just give me time and I'll improve. But anyways, today is going to be a story time of where I'm at in my current situation and how many years I've had this. So it's going a little bit deeper into getting to know me, but yeah, this is gonna be my first story time, and I hope you stay tuned to listen. And if you could please like and subscribe, that would be so wonderful. So let's get started. Okay, so from a young age, I remember going in and out of like clinic and hospitals for checkups and stuff, and I would get ultrasounds every few months. But I didn't really understand what I had until I was in 5th to 6th grade, because that's when I really started asking questions about my condition. So I was born with biliary atresia, and I wasn't diagnosed until I was 6 months old. And when I was 6 months, I had underwent my first surgery, and they called me a miracle baby because this was back in 2002. So like I think it's like prime time of like medical advances at this point, or like this is what we're going into, the advancement of hospitals and everything and technology, you know. And well, they took out my gallbladder, and they did instead of giving me a transplant at a young age, they did a different type of procedure to help connect my intestines to a different part of my body to get the bile duct to come out of my system. And so I was okay after that for 15 years. I lived a normal life, and it was all good and everything. And then I turned 15, and my world turned upside down in literally like a day. So in high school, well, no, not in high school, in middle school, we would run the track, and we would do stadiums. Like we would run, do stadiums, and it would be 6 laps for a mile. So we had to do 6 rounds. And I'm not trying to like brag or anything, but I was one of like the top 15 students that would finish first every time. So this particular day, I ran my first lap, did my first stadium, and I was out of breath by the end of it. And this shocked me because that's never happened to me. I remember my friend told me that my face was turning a different color. The teacher took me inside, get some air, got water, and I didn't know what was going on. I went to tell my parents, and my parents were like, you might be a bit overweight, and that's why you can't move anymore or like be as fast. And I thought it was a lot deeper than that, but they didn't really think that there was anything wrong with me. So my appointment comes up, and I'm getting my ultrasound, and I'm getting seen. And they called my parents again to say, we need to see you within 2 weeks. When can we make an appointment? They made an appointment, and we sat down and discussed the next step. At almost 15 years old, I found out that my liver was turning into a fatty liver, and it was starting to scar. I needed a transplant. And the hospital that I went to was 45 minutes away from my home. I got transferred to a hospital that's almost 2 hours away from home. And going through the process of transferring to a new hospital, meeting new doctors, meeting my whole new team, was a really hard transition for me, because I didn't want it to be true. I wanted to be as normal as any other kid in the world. I wanted to be able to play sports, but I couldn't. And I had to work extra hard to be at the same level academically as an average student because my body was slowly shutting down on me. And they told me, you're going to be on the transplant list and we'll watch you until you get a transplant. We're going to be seeing you every month and get labs and everything. It first started out with just discussing why I was there and why I was getting a transplant. And then came the part where I needed to have an oxygen tank because I wasn't able to breathe or intake a bunch of oxygen on my own anymore. So I was in an oxygen tank. And this is right as I started high school. So high school was honestly a bittersweet moment for me. I didn't really like it. It was because what I was going through and the people there didn't make it any better. I had crappy friends that I always made excuses to keep them with me. And I wish I didn't, because instead of being there for support, they would say that they didn't know what was going on with me. Like, they didn't even ask either. I went back to school with my oxygen tank, and everybody knew me as the girl with the oxygen tank. And it was a little sad for me because everybody would see me as a sickness. And little do they know, I was slowly falling apart. Like, I couldn't breathe on my own. I couldn't, I couldn't think right. I kept mixing up my Spanish and my English. I couldn't remember things. I would wake up from a nap or I woke up when I went to school. I would wake up crying and screaming, not really knowing why. But it's because one side of my brain was starting to slowly shut off because my condition was progressing. And it wasn't until October that I came back. October 2017 is when I came back, and they gave me my last final exam, and it's a memory test. I failed it. I couldn't remember the 3 colors the nurse had told me. I couldn't remember how a clock went. I couldn't remember how to do basic math. I couldn't do anything on my own for a while. And people at school would treat me like a sickness, like something that was contagious. Little did they know my body was giving up on me. And so on Thanksgiving of 2017 is when I get my transplant. While everybody's eating food, I'm over here getting a transplant. And to this day, I'm always thankful that it was on the day to give thanks for everything and be grateful for everything. Couldn't have picked a better date. But yeah, and then the process of healing was a month, so I didn't get out of here till December. And even after I got out, I couldn't go out to school, public transportation, library, or movie theaters or anything like that because I was exposed to getting a virus or being infected easily. For 3 months, I couldn't go out, and I started to become depressed, and I was going through it mentally, and it was horrible. And I pushed myself to go to school before the day I was really supposed to go. I was supposed to go in March, but I decided to go in April because I wanted to push myself and see everybody from school and get out from my house. But I want to say that was one of my biggest mistakes, because that's when I started hating school even more, because they expected me to get on it like this after being out of the hospital. And it wasn't like that. It took me months to be able to catch up with everybody, because I was only taking 2 classes per semester. And then I had to redo some classes because I failed them. And it was a bunch of crap that kept bringing me down and not lifting me up. And at the time, I was in a horrible relationship, so it didn't help either. And it was a lot of things that happened. I kept calling my sister to come pick me up from school because I couldn't mentally be there. I could not be in the same place with all those people because I did not feel welcome anymore. I felt weird being there. And so my sister would pick me up, take me home, and she never really asked me. She just did it, and I will always be grateful for that, because she really was the reason that I didn't completely fall apart. And then 2019 came, and that's when COVID hit. And when COVID happened, for me, it was like a blessing in disguise, because we ended up being in lockdown, so we got quarantined, and I was okay with it. I enjoyed the time doing school from the computer, and I enjoyed having my time to myself in my room. And this is the time where I start exercising and start really thinking about myself and everything. And it's also during the time that I found a job and I started working. And then I found another job around 2021. And I was simultaneously go from one job to another, flipping back and forth. And eventually it took control of my body. And I ended up having a severe rejection. And I ended up staying another month here to get better from my rejection. And they told me that if I ever wanted to get pregnant, I would have to let them know in advance so they can change my medication, because the medication that I was on was too strong for a fetus, which meant I could end up having a miscarriage or a stillbirth or anything, that this baby was not going to be able to come to full term. So I get out of the hospital around January 14, 2021. And on mid-April of 2021, took a pregnancy test, found out I was pregnant. I was shocked. I didn't think I could get pregnant. I was expecting a miscarriage halfway through, but no. I stopped taking my medication after I saw the positive on that pregnancy. I just stopped and called them and told them. And they told me I was going to be a high-risk pregnancy. So I was prepared for everything. I was going to give it up my all to have this baby, because this was my one chance, or at least that's how I saw it at that moment. This is my only chance. It's now or never. And so I took a risk to keep my baby, even though they would ask for a whole month if I wanted to have an abortion. And every time they asked me that, it felt like I wasn't going to be able to have my kid. I felt like they genuinely thought that my body wasn't going to be able to handle it. And that's what I really wanted to hear. I wanted to know why they were pushing the abortion idea so much. But I kept saying no. I want to have this baby. And so I kept my decision to have this baby. And I forgot to mention, I have in large spleen. So I have a bigger spleen than an average person. So when I was pregnant, it was hard for me to walk long periods and distance because she was putting pressure on my bladder and my spleen. So I was mostly kind of bed rest throughout the whole thing. It wasn't bad. It was nice, but also... Oh my goodness. Sorry. I needed to take them off for a minute. I lost myself. I lost it. What was I talking about? Okay, so anyways, when it came to Amelia's due date was supposed to be December 23. So I was expecting to have a Christmas baby. But I got induced in November 28th 29th, but I came here the 28th. I got to the hospital the 28th, and the 29th is when everything was going on. And I had Amelia December 3rd at 1:03 in the morning. And you'll get a different story time about the pregnancy because that's a different topic I want to get into, but it was a traumatic experience at the moment, but now looking back at it, I'm just glad I survived it and I'm here today. But right after having Amelia, I had to stay a couple days with her in the hospital that I had my liver transplant to get my liver numbers back down. And Amelia was also born with jaundice, so she was under the blue light thing for a while. And at the moment when I found out she had jaundice, it broke me to my core because I thought she might have inherited that from me, having a problem with her liver. But I'm glad it wasn't like that. But yeah. So much happened from 2017 to 2021, and I've never really had a moment to process everything. I just went with the flow and just became a mom and took care of my kid. And then when she was around 1.5 years old, I ended up having another mild rejection. And this was back in 2022. And so now we're here and I have a severe rejection. And I'm just trying to push through. And I'm not really trying to worry if how long I'm going to be here. I'm just trying to get my treatment and get to my daughter as fast as I can. But having to go through this as a teen and becoming a mother and still struggling with it is draining physically and mentally, but you gotta push. And I have the support that I need, my family, her dad, my sisters. Everybody's really supportive and helps pitch in to help take care of my daughter, and I'm so grateful for it. But I wish I could do it all by my own. But like people say, it takes a whole village to take care of a newborn sometimes. So always have a support system. It's really important because some days you just need time for yourself to relax and really have time for yourself. Right now, my liver numbers are still a bit high. They haven't come down much. So I'm getting like IV prednisone steroid type of thing. And I'm hoping it starts kicking in because I have, today is, hold on, I'm trying to see the date. Today is April 13, 2025, and I've been here since Wednesday. So, 9th? Yeah, the 9th, I think. And I'm just using this time that I'm here to really reflect on everything that's been going on with me these past few years, because I went to therapy, but nothing really was resolved because my therapist dipped on me. Can you believe that? Like, COVID happened and we went to online sessions and the connection was really bad. So we were like, you know what, let's stop this and we'll continue it when we can do some face-to-face masks 6 feet apart thing. And then she ended up going somewhere else. So, and I was like, I don't really trust people to tell people this, but she was the first therapist that I kind of was just like, I trust you, I like you, you're funny. And so it was easy to talk to her. And so when she left, they were like, we can put you with another therapist. And I was like, no thank you, because I didn't want to retell my story and cry again and everything. I was just like, I'll just let it go. But I know there's some things that aren't resolved up here or physically, but step by step, day by day, we're getting better. I will say that. And so I'm just gonna be here a couple more days, and this might be like a little weird story time because it's so random too, but like I wanted to put something out here so you can watch. And out of this, all I want you to really get out of this is take your time. I did not take my time. I went from one thing to another and didn't take time to process, to heal, or anything. I just did it. And now I'm 22 years old, and I'm just now starting to reflect on everything that's happened to me as a teen, as a mom. And I never really noticed how life never gave me a break for a minute. It was just event after event after event. And I'm not mad about it. I just wish I had more time to sit down and think. So if I tell you anything, is please take your time when you're going through therapy, going through something physical or anything. Please give your body time to heal. Don't try to jump in to do things as fast. Always ask for help, because I didn't. And because I wanted to put on that brave face, but at the end of the day, I really needed someone's help. But I wanted to be I wanted to be a big girl. I wanted to be a tough girl. And so I tried to do everything by myself. So this is another talk from Julie. And so I really hope to tell more stories to inspire you or to show you that anything is possible. I'm still here. I thought I wasn't gonna make it during the surgery. I thought I wasn't gonna make it the first time I had my severe rejection, because that one was pretty scary. And I'll see if I can add some pictures, because like I have pictures with me and my boyfriend here, but I just kind of want to show you like the treatment I was getting. So I'm gonna post some videos, but it's gonna be like vertical, so I will warn you about that now. And yeah, I'll just play some memories as we go so you can see it. And I really hope you enjoy this video. I know it's something different, and hopefully when I get back home, I'll be more fun, entertaining videos. Because Easter's coming up, and we always do like egg hunts around the house. So there's a bunch of eggs that still need to be painted, so I might do a video on that, of painting eggs.